Hello. A few days ago, Beelz was released and destroyed my family in the mountains. Now I'll seek symbolic revenge with a machete. The movie, Kimetsu no Yaiba, The Infinite Castle. At first I confused it with The Infinite Train. Everything is infinite. And it's not only causing a sensation among the anime fan community, but this work has been one of those productions that end up being appreciated by the general public. For those who may not watch anime, daily like us otakus with questionable hygiene, but always big hearts. That already speaks very well of the intense quality of the animation and its ability to hook anyone who comes across it. Going to the movies might give you the full package. From cosplaying fans constantly saying, "Ooh," to Rogelio, your 55-year-old twice-divorced truck driver neighbor who might be an alcoholic and got hooked on the series. Let's be honest, what's more epic than teens battling demons in the mountains? It's true that personally, Kimetsu no Yaiba isn't a work that I love. You guys already know that, right? In fact, I don't think it's that great in terms of characters and storytelling, but one thing is undeniable. This manga is a ridiculously huge and massive phenomenon. Seriously, I had no idea how big this was until I saw that it's one of the best-selling manga in history, and without a doubt, it's the most famous one right now, along with the unforgettable One Piece and Dragon Ball. Does this mean anything? Even though Kimetsu isn't really for me, it's clear people really like it. Now then, before we sit down to watch the movie and experience all this craziness, it's worth taking a quick look back at what brought us here. Kimetsu no Yaiba isn't just a story of frantic fiction. It's a story that mixes tragedy, family, pain, redemption, and a visual style that hits you like a slap every time a battle starts. In this video, we'll cover the key points from past arcs, from Tanjirou's start to famous battles, analyze main characters, heroes, and villains, and explore what makes them stand out. Finally, we'll focus on the story's main themes, like family and sacrifice. All of this, of course, without spoiling what's coming in the movie, since the idea is for this to be a preparation. Just in case you haven't seen Kimetsu and you want to watch the movie without having to go through the whole anime. Or on the other hand, in case, like me, you've forgotten a lot of things because you watched Kimetsu ages ago and want to refresh your memory a bit before the movie. So, without further ado, grab your imaginary katanas, your ridiculous breathing techniques, and let's dive into the famous world of Kimetsu no Yaiba. Tanjirou's story begins with a seemingly peaceful mountain life. Kamado is a hardworking, good guy who lives with his mother and siblings in a small house in the snowy wilderness. His daily life is normal and simple. He sells charcoal in the village, helps at home, and is the big brother who always smiles at everyone. But if Tanjirou had only lived a peaceful life as a charcoal seller, we wouldn't have an anime, a movie, or half-naked Inosuke cosplays at conventions. The first blow comes brutally. Tanjirou comes home one day after a quiet day of work and finds that a demon has wiped out his entire family. Everyone is dead, except for his sister, Nezuko, who was turned into a demon. And this is where the story shows its first big twist. Unlike other protagonists who might just say, "Well, demon sister." Just like the enemy, Tanjirou chooses hope. He decides to protect Nezuko at all costs and seek a way to restore her humanity. This opening is powerful due to the tragedy's impact and its establishment of the siblings' relationship as the story's core. Right from the start, we see that Kimetsu no Yaiba isn't about becoming the strongest or aiming to be Hokage. What drives us here is brotherly love. In this arc, we also meet Tomioka, the water pillar, one of the story's most important and coolest characters. He's the one who crosses paths with Tanjiro and Nezuko, and at first, he's about to cut off their heads. But when he sees Tanjiro's determination, and how Nezuko, even though she's a demon, shows her humanity by protecting her brother, Tomioka decides to give them a chance. He shows them the path of the demon slayers and puts them under the tutelage of Urokodaki, the old master of water breathing. Training with the old man begins here, though we don't see it fully yet. Tanjirou realizes it's not just about swinging a sword, but mastering breathing, focus, and discipline. In short, this initial arc works like an emotional punch to the gut that grabs you by the neck and doesn't let go. It shows pain, motivations, the main dynamic, the key elements of an introductory arc, right? If after this first episode you didn't get hooked, it's probably because, well, it's understandable, but anyway, to each their own. Honestly, as a first episode, it's not bad. I've seen worse. Or maybe Muzan already made you a demon and that's why you dislike it and won't admit it. With this tragedy on top of it, and Nezuko turned into a cute but dangerous demon if you bother her, kinda like a cat. Tanjirou starts training under the old man, a grumpy master but with a kind heart. This is crucial as it shows Tanjirou's growth from a kind kid with no skills to a capable fighter. The training is no joke. The old man means business. He makes him run up the mountain through traps, cut huge rocks, and more. And, of course, Nezuko sleeps for months as part of her demon adaptation process. So Tanjiro manages on his own with only the old man for company. After nearly 2 years of hard work, it's time for the final selection exam that determines who becomes a demon slayer officially. And obviously it's not any kind of written test like in high school or college. Forget it. Here, they toss you on a mountain of demons and it's every man for himself. It's in this arc where Tanjiro really shows the courage he has. Not just because he fights against stronger and stronger demons, but because he faces one in particular that has a history with the old man. A very large and deformed demon who was captured by the master years ago and who since then has been the shadow that haunts the old man. When Tanjiro defeats him, it's more than a personal victory. It frees all the souls trapped in resentment. The exam arc also introduces future protagonists, Zenitsu, the coward, and Inosuke, the wild boar maniac. Although they don't shine in all their glory yet, you can already tell they're characters who are obviously going to play an important role. After the exam, Tanjiro gets his black uniform and his own sword. Tanjiro, a uniform, a sword. Tanjiro. And what color does a Tanjiro get? Black. A rare color often associated with bad luck, but, well, he's a shonen protagonist, so I guess he'll make the most of it and become someone exceptional. This arc officially marks the birth of Tanjiro as a demon slayer. He's no longer just a desperate brother who wants to save his sister. Now he's part of a secret organization with a very clear purpose. Now with his new uniform, sword in hand, and Nezuko in his backpack, Tanjiro begins his first missions as a demon slayer. While most encounters involve demons causing trouble in villages, the Asakusa arc marks a turning point in the story. First, because here we meet Muzan, the boss, the supreme demon, and the so-called Michael Jackson, as the fandom named him. The encounter is intense as Tanjiro recognizes him in a crowded city by scent, leaving Tanjiro shocked. Muzan calmly walks around and lives with a human wife and daughter. Remember, Muzan supposedly killed Tanjirou's family. It's a hard blow for Tanjiro and us, showing the villain isn't a monster in a cave, but someone who can blend into society unnoticed. The tension explodes when Muzan turns an innocent person into a demon to distract Tanjiro. Here we can already see that if there was any doubt, no, this guy is not a good person. This arc introduces Tamayo and Yushiru, two demons. Tamayo is a doctor who studies demon blood instead of consuming humans. To understand and possibly reverse the transformation, Yushiru, her jealous, sarcastic demon assistant, adds sharp humor to their scenes. For Tanjiro, meeting them is a relief. It confirms that there is a possibility that Nezuko can actually be cured. But of course, nothing is that easy. Muzan, paranoid as always, sends 2 of his 12 Kizuki, elite demons, Yaiba and Susumaru, who show up as a rather eccentric pair. Yaiba controls arrows to direct his victims, while Susumaru hurls giant balls with great force. The fight is thrilling, marking the first time Tanjiro and Nezuko team up with allies. In an urban environment and with street rules. What's interesting is that this battle also shows Nezuko's evolution. Though still a demon, she fights with a human heart, protecting Tanjiro and bravely charging ahead. This strengthens her bond with Tamayo, who grows fond of her. In conclusion, the Asakusa arc serves multiple purposes. It powerfully introduces the main villain. It introduces the chance for Nezuko's cure and features a memorable fight with uniquely powered demons. It's a point where the story starts to broaden a little more, alright? After surviving the intense confrontation, Tanjiro heads to one of his first major missions, the Suzumi Mansion. Watch out. Not only are there strange demons here, but also 2 of the series' most beloved and meme-filled characters. This time the villain is Kyogai, a demon with drums in his body who has a creepy vibe. He hits his chest, his leg, or wherever, and the mansion starts spinning, distorting, and changing direction. It's like a final boss mechanic. Very entertaining to watch. The character design is wild. Even though he's not one of the most powerful, he really represents that idea that Kimetsu works so hard on. Demons were also human at some point and usually have a tragic past. In fact, that's why there are so many memes. This arc is notable for introducing Zenitsu and Inosuke. Zenitsu appears as a coward who screams, but reveals his true strength when asleep. Inosuke bursts in wearing his boar mask and with no filter. He's a brute, but you can't help but love him. The Suzumi Mansion arc is when Tanjirou stops acting alone and finally forms his shonen team. From here on out, we're not just fighting demons anymore. We're also going to laugh and above all grow fond of this unique group of misfits. After the Suzumi Mansion, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke face one of their scariest foes yet. Rui, a demon who is not only terrifying, but is also one of the upper moons, which means he's on a whole other level. He's pure power with abilities rivaling the most experienced. Rui masters spider techniques, invisible threads, strategic attacks, and deadly precision turn the mission into a real testing ground. It's not just brute strength. He also has a lot of intelligence in combat, as young people today would say. Zenitsu, on the other hand, is still a walking drama, but he shows his potential when he falls asleep. Inosuke, meanwhile, goes wild. The big moment of this arc is Tanjiro remembering how his dad used to dance a good bachata and unlocking the Dance of the Fire God, a style inspired by flame breathing, blending fluid, precise movements that show both strength and courage. Here, it's not just about physical strength, which is why I keep saying it. Every strike has purpose and style, and this is where we see that Tanjiro starts to transform from a novice into a hunter, capable of facing truly dangerous demons. But here we see another constant that the story presents. Even if you get a beautiful power-up, Rui is on another level, and if it weren't for Tomioka's talent, once again, Tanjiro would be mincemeat right now. After surviving Rui and showing he could protect his sister against a powerful foe, Tanjiro now faces a new, more bureaucratic challenge, right? Convincing the pillars who are the most experienced guys that protecting a demon was the right thing to do. Here, there are no demons or anything like that, just tension, where the best in the group look down on you, judging whether you deserve to keep fighting. The trial offers a quick tour of the pillars to introduce them, clearly showing each one's personality and moral code. Rengoku, who is a very honorable person with inner fire and nobility, and also Tengen Uzui, who is a showman, flamboyant but powerful and charismatic. Mitsuri combines tenderness with strength. Sanemi is pure brute force and visceral hatred towards demons. And his design is very striking. Tokido Muchiro is a prodigy who seems to live in his own world. His name is unusual. Himejima, a massive monk, is said to be the strongest and appears noble and just. Tanjiro defends Nezuko, showing not just sibling love but determination and empathy. His argument is not based only on words but on facts. He crossed paths with Muzan, he already survived Rui, he protected his sister, and he showed skill. The trial shows that sheer power isn't enough. A true hunter stands out through heart, technique, and strength. Additionally, this moment allows us to get to know the pillars better and understand how they think, how they relate to the rookies, and why they are such respected and feared figures. Tanjiro is partly approved as the pillars acknowledge his courage and his desire to protect his sister. This arc reinforces the protagonist's ethics and heart while establishing respect and collaboration. This will be seen in the pillar training and in the future mission at the Infinity Castle. From here on, this is where Kimetsu speeds up and tells us, guys, get ready because it's coming. The premise seems very simple, a train haunted by a demon. But the result is one of the most intense and memorable stories in recent anime. The trip seems normal. Tanjiro, Nezuko, Zenitsu, and Inosuke get on the train to investigate some disappearances. Things get interesting when Enmu appears. A demon who looks like a perfume store employee but is actually sadistic to the core. His power is simple yet terrifying. He puts you to sleep and traps you in a dream of your deepest desire. For Tanjiro, this means reuniting with his dead family. The emotional blow is very hard. Like if I fell asleep and saw a world full of pizza? Naturally, Tanjiro, as a gutsy protagonist, breaks the spell shonen style, using sheer willpower and striking himself with his sword. This moment proves the series can move you, not just thrill you with action. But the real highlight is Rengoku, the flame pillar. From the moment he appears, this guy steals the show. He's super beloved in the fandom today, even though he doesn't appear much. His energy is infectious, his nobility inspiring, and his optimism draws people to him. But watch out. He's not just charismatic. He also reminds us what it means to be a pillar, blending great strength with responsibility. The final fight is one that gets etched in your memory. Rengoku versus Akaza, an upper moon that's really strong, who shows up to prove that high-level demons are in a whole different league. The animation is better than ever, but the real standout is the sense of helplessness, not the visuals. We now realize even the strongest can die. And when Rengoku sacrifices himself to protect everyone and fulfill his goal and duty, we feel it like a direct stab to the tailbone. The Mugen Train arc is beloved by fans for many reasons. It combines thrilling action and emotion, shows Tanjirou confronting deep pain, and marks the story's first major sacrifice. From here, it's clear the series holds nothing back. Anyone can die, and no happy ending is certain. Those who know me already know. I didn't think the Infinity Train arc was all that great, but I understand and respect that it's a good arc and that it's loved and adored by a lot of people. It's just that, personally, for me, I didn't like it that much. After this devastating emotional blow, we're given a mission mixing neon lights, drums, demons, and entertainers. The Red District. Here we meet Uzui, the Sound Pillar, an eccentric man with 3 wives and many accessories. Behind all that nonsense, there's a ninja and demon slayer with brutal power and a strategy that leaves our trio speechless. The first impression is, this guy is an idiot. He's a showman, but he also knows what he's doing. The villains of this arc are a duo, Daki and Gyutaro, demon siblings who serve as a twisted and opposite mirror of Tanjirou and Nezuko. They were human, united by suffering, but their bond was corrupted by evil. The fight is impressive not just because of the animation, which is on another level, as we already know, but because it shows us the strength of family bonds, how love can be both protection and a curse. This arc features a major clash with another upper moon, instantly raising the stakes. Our trio must learn to fight as a team and realize that group strength, not just individual ability, makes the difference. Ultimately, the Entertainment District arc solidifies Tanjirou and his friends as a strong team. It introduces us to a charismatic, eccentric, and stylish Hashira, and reminds us that elite-level enemies are no walk in the park. Most importantly, the Red Light District offers adult fun. After the Red Light District, our heroes take a breather and arrive at the Swordsmith Village, the place where they literally make the swords. There's a reason it's called that. This arc shines by sharing the spotlight. We learn more about Mitsuri Kanroji, the Love Hashira, and Muichiro Tokito, the Mist Hashira. Though Muichiro first appears distracted, he later reveals great talent. Here we see the Hashira are not only strong, but also have unique stories and styles. The villains are equally impressive. Gyoko, whose living vase is like a porcelain nightmare, and Hantengu, who splits his emotions into clones. Grotesque and terrifying, they show the series doesn't hold back on monstrous, twisted designs. Every fight here brings horror and extravagance that always surprises. But Nezuko is the arc's most important part. Previously, she was the demon sister who needed protection, but in the Swordsmith Village, she takes a huge leap and shows her ability to withstand the sun. Something completely new. And she's no longer just the sister in danger, but a warrior in her own right. Because here she starts defeating demons like crazy. In summary, the Swordsmith Village serves as a turning point, expands the world, develops key characters further, and sets the stage for more important confrontations. Now we come to one of the arcs that serve as a preparation phase before the final battle. Here we see the pillars giving their all. Not only are they the most powerful people in the world of hunters, but they also take training very seriously. And at the same time, they make us feel like we're sweating and taking hits too. Each one has their own style, their own way of training, and of course their own crazy touch. Tanjirou, Zenitsu, and Inosuke get swept up in this as if entering an amusement park. It's not just strengthening muscles or perfecting breathing. It's about learning to think like a Hashira, to anticipate the attacks of an enemy who can destroy you in the blink of an eye, and above all, to trust your companions. The arc works like a take a deep breath. Because from here on out, things are going to get very intense. They show us that power doesn't come from a miraculous blow or a power-up, but from discipline, training, and courage. To emphasize that the upcoming Infinity Castle mission will be intense, we're talking about high-level demons and in large numbers, enemies that show no mercy, and a setting where any mistake can be fatal. The best part of this arc is how it blends action with watching the pillars exaggerate their techniques, argue, and compete is the usual training arc before a big one. In short, the pillars training is pretty much fan service for those who love the characters and a preview of what's coming next, and also a demonstration that Tanjiro and his friends still have a lot to learn. That would be the summary up to this point. Before heading to the Infinity Castle, let's talk a little about each character individually. Tanjiro, If we had to describe Tanjirou in a single sentence, it would be something like the nicest guy in anime, but with a katana that can split your foreskin in two. His motivation is clear from the start: protect his sister and avenge his family's massacre. Interestingly, unlike most protagonists motivated by power or ambition, Tanjirou is driven by his big heart. He's not just good for show. When he has to kill, he does it. He cries afterward, but still gets the job done. Also, there's a key detail. His training and growth don't feel handed to him. Every fight nearly kills him. Tanjirou is the kind of hero who makes you wonder how he's still alive. It's just stubbornness and some narrative protection. His fighting style blends elements, reflecting a character who can flow or burn as needed. Part water, part fire. Nezuko is probably the most original and kawaii card in the series. Just when you expect a typical sister in distress story, the creator makes her a demon, shattering expectations. What hooks you the most is the contrast of being a creature with brutal strength. Nezuko's evolution is crucial as she becomes more than just a protective sister. There are moments where she's the one who saves Tanjiro, and she also shows that her strength is nothing to envy compared to high-ranking demons. Zenitsu is the typical character that many people underestimate. At first, he's whiny, loud, and yes, it annoyed and overwhelmed all of us that he screamed so much in the beginning. Beneath his constant fear, a determination makes him one of the group's most powerful. His most iconic trait is that when he faints from fear, his body keeps fighting. He actually performs best when he's scared to death. But this is highly symbolic. Zenitsu is truly someone who, despite his fear, steps up when others' lives are in danger. That's not how he is when asleep. Thunder breathing focuses on speed and explosiveness. What's wild is, unlike other demon slayers who learn many forms, he masters just one and perfects it completely. That makes him a deadly specialist. As Bruce Lee said, "I'm not scared of someone with 1,000 moves, but of someone who has mastered one move through 1,000 repetitions." Inosuke enters the story more like an animal than a human, raised in the mountains wearing a boar mask and with zero social contact. At first, he seems more like a rival than an ally, but very quickly he becomes one of the pillars of the group. Inosuke is interesting for his duality. He's a fierce warrior, eager to prove himself, yet also childish and innocent. There are moments when his vulnerability shines through. Let's remember that behind that wild facade, there's a boy who also wants to be loved and to belong to something. His fighting style mixes wildness and instinct. I think people love him most for his comedy. Without Inosuke, the comedy in Kimetsu no Yaiba would fall flat. As for the antagonist, Muzan, everyone immediately notices he looks like Michael Jackson, but aside from that, he's an effective villain at first. He's not very charismatic, but he's pretty scary. He's the original demon who created the rest, and what defines him is his absolute fear of dying. That fear makes him ruthless, willing to do anything to survive. He doesn't have grand speeches or lofty ideas. He's not trying to create a new world or make himself adored. His motivation is very basic, and so is he simply wants to stay alive. Makes him more like an animal than a typical antagonist, driven solely by survival instinct. Muzan is the ideal foil for Tanjiro. While Tanjiro stands for compassion and humanity, Muzan represents pure selfishness, denial of humanity, and rejection of all bonds. As for the moons, the Demon Slayer Corps has the pillars, but Muzan is not far behind. His most lethal soldiers are the 12 demon moons, divided into lower and upper ranks. And while the lower moons didn't last long, the upper moons are a different story. Unforgettable enemies with impressive designs. We'll learn more about them in the movie for sure, but here's a preview of the 3 most powerful ones. Asakusa is a fan favorite due to his striking design, fierce fighting style, and memorable music. Unlike many demons, he has a code of honor. He never attacks women, respects strong opponents, and is constantly seeking to surpass his limits. You might mistake him for a human warrior in other situations. Akasa's personal tragedy is what turned him into a demon, but he never completely lost his sense of respect. Every fight with him feels more like a duel than a clash. He's an enemy you can't truly hate. Despite everything, if Asakusa has honor, Duma is the opposite. His constant smile and gentle tone make him one of the most unsettling villains. Kimetsu no Yaiba. He's a total psychopath. No emotions, love, or compassion. Everything is just a mask. His total apathy makes him a monster in sheep's clothing. Honestly, this guy gives you chills and shows a complete lack of humanity. Finally, we reach Kokushibo, Upper Moon 1, and one of history's most fascinating demons. He's special not just for his strength, but for his mysterious and menacing aura. He always exudes historical weight and a rare sense of superiority among enemies. What's interesting about Koku is not just his ability to fight, but what he represents. A dark reflection of what happens when someone lets ambition and fear guide their decisions. It's a reminder of the boundaries between strength, purpose, and morality. The movie will likely reveal clues about his past. What makes Kimetsu different is that even in its villains, there are no monsters of simple evil. Each demon has a human past, a wound, a pain that led them to accept Muzan's power. This makes people really care about these characters. Nowadays, it's very trendy for villains to always be broken villains, and villains who are simply evil are often ignored, despised, or underrated. So it's normal. And well, we've reached the end of this little journey through Kimetsu no Yaiba before the movie. Now you're all set to see the movie and pretend with your friends that you watched the series. Or are you? Well, if you just want to remember a few things, in a summary like this, very condensed, it's true that I skipped a lot of things, but if I make a very complete summary of Kimetsu, it wouldn't be half an hour, it could be almost 2 hours. We saw the story begin with a boy selling charcoal and end with him carrying the world's weight. Nezuko transformed from a victim into a symbol of hope, with each arc adding more epicness, tragedy, and triumph over adversity. In the end, Kimetsu is not just a festival of sword fights, but stories about family, loss, and sacrifice. It's a constant reminder that life is really tough. It's also beautiful, and even in dark times, there's hope. With the Infinite Castle's arrival, this journey is nearing its peak. When you go to the movies, keep your eyes open. You're in for a breathless roller coaster of fights, ridiculously high-level animation as always, and above all, moments that will mark our characters forever. In short, if you've been following the anime, get ready for the biggest finale of all. And if you still have doubts, give it a look, because I'm telling you, even if it doesn't have a story or characters that will change your life, hey, it's nice, it's entertaining, and I don't know, sometimes you just have to put your prejudices aside, right? Anyway, let me know in the comments if you also want me to make a video about the movie, okay? That would obviously be a separate thing. I'm signing off now, and I'll see you in the next videos. Bye.